A little while ago, I did a video on Ghost Train, which was a board game from my childhood, which I adored because it was something a bit different to your usual Tiddlywinks or your Monopoly or your Cluedo, in that it was a 3D game that had moving parts. And in that video, if you watched it, thank you very much, but if you watched it, you would have heard me refer to a third game that I'll be doing a video on, and that is this, and it is here. And I haven't got any further opening it than this, and this is the very first time I've seen this game since the 1970s, and I reckon the early 1970s at that. And this game is the pinnacle of the 3D gimmick games that had a touch of fantasy about them. All right. With also, and this is the same as Ghost Train and Bermuda Triangle, the video I did before that, the most amazing artwork. These games, when you weren't playing them, I would just study the box art. Not so much the interior art. There's a lot of art in this game, but the box art. So here we go. First time in more than 50 years that I've been touching this game, and I'm going to try and get her out of the packaging. Hang on, I'm going to have to. There we go. Yeah, so here we go. On that Ghost Train game, I was saying about, I was very lucky to have got an almost like as new version. I can see from the bottom of the box, this isn't as new, but it's, over 50 years old, and it might have been up in someone's attic. You don't know. So I'm going to flip him over. I don't know if this is going to be the right way up or not, but let's flip him over. No, he's not. So here we go. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This image instantly, takes me back. Dennis Fisher, right, was so impactful a company for releasing games and toys back then. So do you remember this? I know it's been re-released a number of times. In fact, I think there was a version before this. Certainly in America, there was a different box art to it. And I know it's been released a few times because our children had this one. When our son, who's 24 now, when he was about 5 or 6, I bought one, and it was called Ghost House or something like that. And it was a modern version, but the artwork was different. The artwork inside was completely different. It wasn't the same. So here it is. This was the game that I liked the most because you got ghosts and you got witches, and you got these 3 amazing witches, very reminiscent of the witch that you would see in a Bugs Bunny cartoon, especially that one. So yeah, much like Ghost Train, you got to travel through and get out the other side. In this case, the haunted house. So this has only just come. The guy said it's in good condition. Like I said on the Ghost Train one, a lot of the features in this, it's basically just cardboard, isn't it? So I've no idea if any bits have snapped off. He says it's complete. All right. The thing I'm looking out for is this nifty feature at the top. But let's find it and have a look. So yeah, that was usual for games at the time, the assembly instructions and everything. In fact, the rules are all here as well. It's all on the inside of the box, which is handy because it means you don't have to worry about losing them. And that's the construction thing. And much like, Mousetrap, he did, that's right, he did say that one of the figures has snapped off of his base. So there's that. That's his foot on his base. Yeah, much like Mousetrap, there was some construction necessary before playing, although I don't think with this game it's as much. That's interesting, and this could just be, let me sit down, this could be just me remembering it from when I was like 10, but this board is much smaller than I remember it. So we've got the broom room, the witching kitchen, the spell cell, and the bat's ballroom. And we'll just refer back to the artwork. You have to construct the walls, and these are the walls. So we have one here, one here. Like so. Yeah, look how floppy that is. This has been used quite a bit. Again, great artwork. I remember this. This is the, it's like a seesaw affair, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Yeah. This is the point where it snaps. And look, it's going, this one. I think I've got to reinforce this with a little wooden strip, I think. Has that snapped off or not? All right. So here are the mice. Here's the chimney. There's the cards. More bits. Oh yeah, and then all the black plastic. And there's the broom. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop. I'm going to assemble it, and then I'll come back and explain or show you just what's what. Okay, that's it put together. Slightly tricky because the base, I don't know if you saw in the last bit, was slightly warped. So putting the four walls on wasn't as easy as it should be. Basically, you've got 4 black plastic clips that you put halfway on each side, and the walls bend in half, and they make your 4 walls of the haunted house. All right. These bits, so it's like, what is this? I've got a number of these, and this is a very complete set in that these are the bits you push out, like this. When the game was brand new, would have been there. You have to push that out, right? And they've been kept all these years. They've been kept in the box, and they're not needed. It's just scrap card. Bit of mildewy residue or whatever in there, but this is it assembled. So basically, you choose a colour. You can be a boy, or you can be a girl. Although if you want to be green and a boy, you got to be a girl, because there's only one of each colour. So you take your playing piece and a mouse, right? And what you do is you roll a dice, and you move 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And just like Ghost Train, the plan is you've got to make your way past perils to get to the end. You've got to get to the charm circle, which is at the top of the staircase, all right? So each player takes it in turns to go along. When your go has finished, you draw a card. We've got a whole deck of cards here. Turn over the top one. This is Glenda the Good breaks the spell, right? What spell, you might be wondering? Well, let's find one. There. Wander the Wicked casts a spell. If you get this card at the end of your turn, you substitute your playing piece for a mouse. You turn into a mouse and you freeze. You don't move on your next turn, and when it is your next turn, you draw another card, and you keep going until Glenda pops up. All right. So that's 2 types of cards. There's 3 types of cards. I'd completely forgotten this game mechanic. Excuse me. I remember all the physical bits, but not the mechanics, right? So you keep going. There's one more card. There's Glenda again. There's Glenda again. There we are. Ghoulish Gertie drops it down the chimney. Drops what down the chimney, you might ask? It's a ball bearing. Where is the ball bearing? What did I do with the ball bearing? Well, that's good if I haven't got a ball bearing. Hang on 1 second. Found it. It was under the board. The instructions suggest you play the game in the box like this, which is a really good idea because, yeah, the game came with a proper ball bearing. I think this has been in someone's attic. You know, you've got the mildewy, mouldy stuff, and you've got a fair bit of rust on that ball bearing. So yeah, if Ghoulish Gertie should arrive, you drop the ball bearing down the chimney. Now, the way this works, and this is why I love this game, is you drop it down the chimney and it can go one of 4 different ways, all right? And it's completely random. You don't know which way it's going to go, all right? So let's pop that back on. And let's just have a little go top view, see what happens. Right, it went that away, all right? Will it do it a second time? Which way now? Oh, if this is third time the same, then I haven't put this together properly. Oh, now it's got stuck. There we go. Then it went out that one. Yeah, so it's a complete random event. And if you should happen to be on a danger marker, then you're in trouble. Because if you're there and Ghoulish Gertie demands the ball drop down. Actually, let's take that off and then I can do this properly. Yeah, so if you're here and the ball bearing goes down this way, you get whacked by the broomstick. That's why it's called the broom room, right? But if you should survive that and move into the witching kitchen, the danger here is this bit of floor, because you've got to come up here, around here, and off and through. I didn't say that if you do get knocked over, you have to go back to the last blue space, right, and continue. This doesn't work so well because when you assemble it, you've got a plastic lug there and you've got a plastic lug there. That plastic lug has snapped off. So yeah, let's put me here and drop the ball down. See? All right. And if that had happened, I'd have to go back to there or there, depending which is the nearest. But say I'll make it round into the next room, the spell cell. All right. This is a room where you've got 2 points of danger. You've got the danger here, because that could still move and topple you off. And you've got 2 danger points here. And that's because of this bucket. Now, I don't think I put this together very well, and it's not helping that this is bowed. You can see that's meant to be flat, but let's see what happens. Will anything happen once it's gone through? Oh, he was missed that time, so I would have continued going. But yeah, it could drop down and get you on the head. Right, so you got to move from the spell cell into the bat's ballroom. All right, and you've got multiple dangers here as well, because in that other room, when that bucket drops down, you've got a secret hatch here, and if it goes down, you see, you get knocked off, you go back to the blue. Right, and then the most dangerous point is here, because you have danger here, and then you have to go up the steps to the top step, right? And the problem there is, say I'm there, and the ball comes down, bam, you're knocked off, have to go all the way back to there. So yeah, first person to ascend the stairs. Now, it's not the most cerebral of games, it's not the most challenging of games, and there's not an awful lot of skill to it. You have no control over that ball bearing once it drops down the chimney. But if you're 10 years old and you're into all this, into, monsters and vampires and witches and spooky stories and what have you, Scooby-Doo cartoons, this is for you. Lovely game. It's great to own it again, but the other week I did Ghost Train, and I think, that cover is just, that box is just so wonderful, and I remember really enjoying this when I was little, but I think I enjoy playing the Ghost Train one more, but this, I think because this was the very first game I ever encountered where you had things that moved and things, operated, and it wasn't a flat piece of cardboard with tiddlywinks or whatever. I just found it enthralling.